Chapter 1, The Council of Fools. Earth was a bakery. At least, that's how the Galactic Assembly liked to describe it. A quaint, open-air bakery with the lights left on, no locks on the doors, and not a single security drone hovering above the counter. To the stars, Earth was laughably exposed, no planetary shields, no orbital cannons, not even a warning buoy at the system's edge. And yet, for reasons no one could explain, no one ever touched it. Tonight, the assembly meant to solve that mystery. The chamber stretched like a cathedral carved from crystal, starfields glimmering overhead. Delegates from 200 worlds sat in crescent rows, robes rustling, mandibles clicking, gills pulsing in irritation. At the center stood a holographic display, Sol System, unguarded, spinning lazily. This, drawled High Consul Rither of the Vecture Dominion, tapping the hollow with a claw, is a travesty. A Class C world, unshielded, unregulated, wide open to exploitation. Yet for a century, we tiptoe around it like frightened hatchlings. Why? Murmurs rippled through the chamber. A long-necked Siluan ambassador clicked her beak. Because every time an empire so much as tests the humans, their fleets vanish. Rumors, Rither snorted. Pirates invent ghost stories. The truth is obvious, humans are too backward to defend themselves. Spears and combustion engines. They barely reached the moon, for star's sake. Moon landing, corrected another delegate. Singular. The chamber chuckled. A hand went up at the far side of the hall. Small. Soft. 5 fingers, no claws. The owner adjusted his tie, cleared his throat, and smiled. "Forgive me," said Ambassador Nathan Cole of Earth, "but I really must object to the spear's comment. We don't use those anymore. Unless it's for sports. Or fishing." He paused, as though reflecting. Mostly sports. Dozens of alien eyes swiveled toward him. Humans were rare in the assembly, more novelty than influence. Cole leaned comfortably on the podium, a mug of something steaming in his hand. Rither sneered. "Tell me, little primate, do you truly believe your world survives because of spears and fishing?" Cole sipped. "Coffee. Want some?" "Oh, no, wait. Your kind metabolizes caffeine like poison." "Never mind." He flashed a disarming grin. "As for survival, Earth's secret is really quite simple." The room leaned forward. Even the Siluans stopped preening their feathers. Cole let the silence stretch, then said lightly, "We're lucky." The chamber erupted in scoffs and hisses. "Luck?" Rither barked. "Entire invasion fleets do not vanish because of luck." Cole shrugged. "Stranger things have happened. Cats always land on their feet. Toast always falls butter side down. Combine the two and you've got perpetual motion. Maybe humanity's just the cat with the toast strapped to its back." A ripple of confusion went through the delegates. They hated his metaphors. He knew it, and leaned into it with relish. "Enough riddles," snapped a reptilian general from the back row. "The Dominion will prove Earth's weakness. We will invade, and the galaxy will see what becomes of luck." The words hung heavy. Cole's smile didn't fade, but his eyes cooled, just slightly. "Invade? My dear General, that sounds terribly unneighborly." "Are you sure?" "Yes," the general hissed. "Tomorrow we'll announce our campaign. Earth will be ours within a month." Cole set his mug down. His tone remained cordial, his grin polite, but his voice carried a weight that pressed against the chamber walls. "Well then," he said softly, "I suppose you'll find out." Back on Earth, the reports spread through human channels like wildfire. News anchors joked about it. Memes appeared within hours, aliens photoshopped onto cows with captions like "*Come for the planet, leave with the trauma. Asterisk teenagers started taking bets on which city would get targeted first. In Washington, London, and Beijing, military staff only smiled grimly. They'd seen this play before. At a small UN liaison office in New York, Cole poured himself another cup of coffee. His assistant, a nervous intern named Maya, wrung her hands. "Ambassador, aren't you worried? They just declared war." Cole stirred his coffee lazily. "Maya, do I look worried?" "Yes. That's just my face." He winked. "Listen carefully, no war against Earth ever ends well. Not for them. And that's not bravado. It's math." "Math?" You see, every invasion gets logged. Result? Invaders vanish. Every time. It's like a coin flip that never lands on tails. Statistically impossible. But here we are. Maya blinked. "So it is luck?" Cole chuckled. "Luck, strategy, perspective, pick your word. But let me give you a free lesson in human nature." He leaned close, voice dropping. "We smile. We joke. We invite people in for tea. But never, ever mistake that for weakness. Our ancestors didn't survive ice ages and saber-tooths by being nice. They survived by being predators that learned how to look harmless until it was too late." Maya shivered. "And the aliens don't know that." Cole's grin widened, wolfish now. "They're about to." Meanwhile, aboard the Vecture flagship Dominion's Fong, Admiral Kryth prepared his invasion plan. Rows of armored officers studied Earth's topography like hunters surveying a helpless herd. "Primitive atmosphere," one officer noted. "Weak electromagnetic defenses." "Surface divided into petty nations," said another. "They'll fight each other rather than us." Kryth's tongue flickered with satisfaction. "Excellent. Within one lunar cycle, their planet will fly our banner." Yet one junior officer shifted uneasily. He'd read the reports, the inexplicable disappearances, the fleets that never returned. "Admiral, with respect, every empire that tried before us failed." Kryth hissed. "Because they were fools. We are prepared." The officer bowed his head, though unease gnawed at him. Far below, on the blue-green world spinning silently in the void, billions of humans went about their day. Some laughed, some argued over politics, some complained about gas prices. And somewhere, deep in the shadows, humanity's real defenses stirred. Not shields. Not fleets. Something far older. And as Nathan Cole watched the sun rise through his Manhattan office window, he murmured, almost to himself, "You'll learn soon enough. No war against Earth ever ends well." Chapter 2, The Invitation. The invasion fleet arrived without ceremony. 200 warships dropped into Earth's orbit, blotting out stars like ink spilled across velvet. They were sleek and brutal, spines bristling with cannons, armor gleaming under Sol's light. To the Vecture Dominion, it was already victory. To humans on the ground, it was entertainment. Within minutes, social media was ablaze. Live streams showed the alien ships drifting above blue skies. Comment sections exploded. "Bro, they parked over Cleveland." "Why Cleveland?" Bet they try New Jersey first." "Bold move." Can we sell "I Survived the Invasion" t-shirts yet? News anchors struggled to sound serious, but even they cracked jokes. One smirked into the camera, "Well, folks, seems we've got company. Hope they like traffic jams." On the flagship Dominion's Fong, Admiral Kryth studied Earth with predatory calm. "Pathetic," he declared. "No orbital defenses, no shields. Their sky is naked. Yes, Admiral, an officer hissed. Should we commence orbital bombardment? Not yet. Let them stew. Fear will break them before our weapons do. A comms officer interrupted, mandibles twitching. Signal from the surface. They request a negotiation. KRYTH's scales rippled in amusement. How quaint. Patch it through. The hologram flickered to life. Ambassador Nathan Cole appeared, standing in a modest conference room with a coffee pot at his elbow. He looked calm, even cheerful. Morning, gentlemen. Or, do you even have mornings? Anyway, welcome to Earth. Did you find parking okay? Silence. Officers glanced at each other, unsure if they'd misheard. KRYTH bared his fangs. Human. You dare greet us with jokes? Cole raised his brows. Not jokes. Icebreakers. I thought this was a meeting. You know, two sides talking before things get messy. That's how civilized people do it. You are not in a position to negotiate. True, Cole said smoothly. We're outnumbered, outgunned, and vastly outclassed. Which means you should absolutely be suspicious that I'm still smiling. The bridge quieted. KRYTH narrowed his eyes. Explain yourself. Cole leaned forward. His voice stayed friendly, but each word landed like a knife wrapped in velvet. Because when humans smile during a crisis, Admiral, it usually means someone's already set the table. He tapped his mug. And you just walked into dinner. The line cut. On Earth, military operations remained invisible to the public. Civilians carried on, half amused, half curious. In cafes, people debated whether the aliens would prefer pizza or barbecue. Gamers joked about forming welcome committees armed with paintball guns. But behind the curtain, things moved fast. Power grids shifted to hidden backups. Communication satellites rerouted signals through decoys. Entire defense networks, silent for decades, came alive beneath oceans, mountains, and deserts. Colonel Ruiz, head of Earth Strategic Command, watched status lights blink green. They still think we're unarmed, she said. A technician grinned. They'll figure it out. Ruiz folded her arms. Too late. Above, KRYTH grew impatient. Enough games. Begin the descent. The first wave of dropships plunged into Earth's atmosphere, black arrows cutting through cloud cover. Their target, New York City. On the ground, traffic halted as glowing streaks crossed the sky. New Yorkers stared upward, unimpressed. Great, one cab driver muttered. Aliens. Just what Midtown needs. Tourists live-streamed, narrating with giddy excitement, Guys, look. Actual UFOs. This is insane. The dropships landed in Central Park, tearing craters into the grass. Trees toppled, fountains shattered. The first Vector soldiers emerged, towering reptilian figures clad in segmented armor, weapons humming. Crowds didn't scream. They cheered. One college kid shouted, "Welcome to Yo Earth. Hope you brought snacks." Another tossed a bag of Doritos at the soldiers' feet. Cameras clicked, phones rolled. The Vector soldiers hesitated. They'd expected terror, chaos, surrender. Instead, humans treated their invasion like a parade. The commander barked, "Silence these animals." He raised his weapon. Then it jammed. So did the next. And the next. Sparks coughed from rifles, targeting displays flickered dead. Confused shouts rose among the troops. Unseen, human satellites were feeding false signals into Vector systems. Every targeting array, every sensor, every failsafe, scrambled. The crowd roared with laughter. One teenager yelled, "Bro, Their guns are Wi-Fi locked. Back on the flagship, alarms screeched. Officers scrambled, reporting weapon malfunctions across the entire fleet. Impossible! Clipchamp roared. We tested these systems. A junior officer croaked, Admiral, they must have hacked us. Hacked? By primitives? Cole's voice returned over the comms, pleasant as ever. Not hacked. Persuaded. Your systems run on algorithms. Ours run on chaos. Try predicting 7 billion people improvising at once. Spoiler alert, you can't. You will regret this insolence. Clipchamp bellowed. Cole sipped his coffee. Oh, I don't doubt it. But not half as much as you will. The line cut again. Back in Central Park, human civilians stepped forward. At least, that's how they looked, tourists, joggers, food vendors. But their movements were too coordinated, their eyes too steady. In seconds, concealed weapons unfolded from guitar cases, food carts, even baby strollers. Within moments, the park wasn't a crowd of spectators, it was an ambush. The Vector troops froze. Their rifles useless, their comms scrambled, they found themselves staring down barrels of very human guns. The nearest vendor, a grandmotherly woman selling pretzels, smiled sweetly. Would you like mustard with your surrender? By nightfall, the first invasion wave had collapsed. Entire companies of Vector soldiers were captured, herded politely but firmly into makeshift pens. On the flagship, Clipchamp raged. How? How can they be prepared for everything? An intelligence officer trembled. Admiral, I believe Earth anticipated us. Perhaps even invited us. Clipchamp froze. Explain. Reports indicate civilians were waiting. Smiling. As though they wanted us to land. The chamber chilled. Clipchamp suddenly remembered Cole's words, we set the table. For the first time, doubt coiled in his gut. At the UN office, Cole poured himself a final cup of coffee. Maya stood beside him, pale from watching the battle feats. You knew, she whispered. Cole nodded. Of course. You let them come. That was the plan. He clinked his mug against hers. It's not enough to win, Maya. We need the galaxy to watch them lose. He raised his cup to the night sky, where alien ships glimmered like dying embers. To Admiral Clipchamp, he said cheerfully. May he enjoy dinner. Maya shivered. Dinner? Cole smiled thinly. He thinks he's the predator. By the end, he'll learn the truth. Humans don't build cages. We build traps. Chapter 3, Teeth Behind the Smile. Admiral Clipchamp had led campaigns across 20 systems. He had seen fleets crumble and cities burn. Yet nothing unsettled him like watching Central Park, a supposedly defenseless patch of grass, devour an entire battalion of his soldiers. Every report screamed contradiction. Troops captured without casualties. Weapons disabled mid-fire. Civilians morphing into fighters without hesitation, as if war was just another part of their day. Clipchamp hissed. Humans are improvising primitives. They cannot hold against us. But a voice in the back of his mind whispered, or perhaps improvisation is their strength. On Earth, Nathan Cole watched the chaos unfold from the UN command center. Screens lit the room, alien soldiers disarmed, troops herded, dropships rerouted into dead airspace. He remained calm, sipping coffee as though monitoring a chessboard he had already mastered. Maya hovered near him. They'll send more ships, won't they? Of course, Cole said lightly. That's the point. The point? He glanced at her. If you want to teach the galaxy never to invade your planet, You don't stop the first wave. You let the entire empire bleed in full view. His phone buzzed. A message, Phase 2 cleared. Cole smiled. Showtime. Night cloaked New York when the second wave descended. The Dominion's ships rumbled through the atmosphere, heavier, angrier. They unleashed drones, swarms of black spheres humming with plasma arcs. The city should have burned. Instead, the drones blinked out one by one. Power grids collapsed not from alien fire, but from human sabotage. Engineers had rigged entire districts to feed false signals. Skyscrapers went dark, streets emptied, then lit again with carefully choreographed decoys. To the invaders, the city became a maze of phantom targets. "Where are the humans?" one soldier barked. Then gunfire cracked from rooftops. Explosions rippled from subway tunnels. Shadows moved with precision, cutting supply lines, striking, vanishing. It was not war. It was hunting. On the Dominion's Fong, officers shouted over each other. Ambushes in every sector. They're everywhere, every civilian is a soldier. Casualties mounting. Kryth slammed a claw against the console. Impossible. They cannot organize this quickly. An aide's voice trembled. Admiral, it's not quick. It's prepared. The words landed like a blade. Beneath Manhattan, Ruiz directed operations from a subterranean bunker. Her tone was clinical, efficient. Squad Bravo, cut off their retreat. Delta, herd them east. No lethal shots unless forced. Her second-in-command frowned. We're not destroying them. Ruiz's eyes gleamed. Killing them is too easy. We want survivors. Witnesses. Above ground, the invaders stumbled through the city's skeleton. Streets narrowed like funnels, pushing them exactly where humans wanted. Barricades collapsed behind them, drones fried midair, windows lit up only to blind them with laser dazzlers. Panic spread. The Vecture were predators used to breaking prey. Now they found themselves corralled like cattle. One soldier shouted, "Why aren't they finishing us?" From the rooftops came the answer, carried in human voices sharp as glass. Because you're supposed to tell the story. Meanwhile, Cole patched into Kryth's command channel without invitation. His tone was still polite, but the humor was thinner now, less warmth, more edge. Admiral. How's the sightseeing tour? New York can be overwhelming your first time. Kryth snarled. You mock me while your people hide like vermin? Cole chuckled softly. Hide? Oh, Admiral, we're everywhere. Behind you. Beside you. In your systems, your comms, your maps. We don't hide. We wait. You cannot defeat an empire with theatrics. True. But you can humiliate one. Cole's smile vanished. His voice hardened. And humiliation, Admiral, spreads faster than war. The channel cut. By dawn, the second wave collapsed like the first. Hundreds captured. Thousands scattered. Not a single human casualty reported. The galaxy watched. Every world with a comms relay tuned into Earth's feeds, unfiltered footage of Dominion troops surrendering to civilians armed with nothing but cunning and preparation. The narrative shifted overnight. For the first time, whispers spread not of Earth's weakness, but of its cunning cruelty. In the assembly chambers light years away, the Siluan ambassador clicked her beak nervously. I warned you. No one invades Earth. Others scoffed. Coincidence. Trickery. Yinani's gnawed at them. The Vecture were no weaklings. If they could be broken on Earth's soil, anyone could. Back on the flagship, Kryth faced a bitter truth. Half his invasion force was gone. His empire demanded victory, but each move tightened humanity's snare. He stared at Earth below, deceptively serene. "They're smiling," he muttered. "Always smiling." In the UN bunker, Maya finally voiced what haunted her. "Why do we need to go this far? We've already won." Cole studied her. His usual grin softened into something darker. "Winning isn't enough," he said quietly. "If we swat them down today, another empire will try tomorrow. That's how the galaxy works, hyenas circling a wounded animal. So we show them teeth." "Teeth?" Cole leaned closer. His voice was low, deadly calm. "We teach them that Earth is not prey. Earth is the predator pretending to be prey. And when a predator smiles, it means someone's already bleeding." Maya shuddered. That night, captured Dominion soldiers sat in makeshift camps. None were tortured, none mistreated. They were fed, given blankets, treated with eerie hospitality. But every kindness carried an unspoken threat. Smiling guards offered food with lines like, "Eat up, big day tomorrow." Medics patched wounds while muttering, "Don't worry, you'll be home soon, if you live that long." The aliens realized the horror wasn't brutality. It was certainty. Humans acted not like victors, but like hosts tidying up after a planned dinner party. One soldier whispered to another, "They knew. They knew everything before we landed." And far above, Cole addressed the assembly through an emergency transmission. "Ladies and gentlemen of the galaxy," he began, smiling as always. "Earth thanks you for your concern. To clarify, we are defenseless. No shields, no fleets. Anyone can come knocking. And yet, somehow, wars against Earth never end well. Strange, isn't it?" He sipped his coffee. "Consider this your only warning. If you come as friends, you'll find a home here. If you come as conquerors, well..." He set the mug down with a soft click. "You'll leave a story. Nothing more." The feed ended. In every corner of the galaxy, silence followed. Chapter 4, The Trap. Admiral Kryth hadn't slept in 3 rotations. He stood at the viewport of the Dominion's Fong, staring down at the blue planet that had undone his empire. Every attempt to crush Earth had turned to farce. Every soldier sent became a prisoner. His fleet, once a hammer feared across the stars, was now a collection of broken teeth scattered in orbit. The insult was worse than defeat, it was mockery. "Admiral," an officer whispered, "orders from High Command. They demand victory at all costs." Kryth's claws flex. "Then we burn them from orbit. I want the surface glass within the hour." "Admiral," the officer hesitated. "We can't." Kryth turned slowly. "Explain." The officer swallowed hard. "Every targeting system recalibrates, to us. Our own coordinates." The room went silent. Kryth's scales rippled cold. "You mean to tell me Earth has turned our fleet into the target?" Before the officer could answer, a voice crackled through the comms, calm, cordial, unmistakably human. "Morning, Admiral. Nathan Cole here. Just checking in, how's the fleet holding up?" The bridge froze. Kryth snarled, "What have you done?" "Nothing dramatic," Cole said, his tone light, almost bored. "Just convinced your ships that home is where the heart is. In this case, their own hearts." Laughter echoed faintly in the background, human voices amused in a war room. Cole continued, "You came here expecting prey. Instead, you walked into our kitchen. And, Admiral, once the oven door closes, it only opens one way." The line cut. On Earth, the trap unfolded. Hidden deep in the oceans, electromagnetic buoys pulsed, feeding false coordinates into the Dominion fleet's navigation systems. In orbit, experimental rail satellites, projects the world's governments swore didn't exist, activated simultaneously. Their purpose wasn't to destroy. Not yet. They pinned. KRYTH's fleet found itself paralyzed, locked in a net of invisible force. Every attempt to move brought them back into the crosshairs of their own weapons. Admiral, we can't maneuver. Shields failing, without a shot fired. We're caged. The words sliced deeper than any wound. In the assembly chamber light years away, delegates watched the live feeds. Holograms showed Dominion warships caught like flies in amber, soldiers disarmed, civilians unharmed but unafraid. The Siluan ambassador whispered what many thought: this isn't defense. This is orchestration. One delegate croaked, they planned it all, invited the invasion, just to make an example. Back on the Dominion's Fong, KRYTH slumped into his command chair, breathing ragged. Why not kill us? Why not finish it? Cole's voice returned, smooth as silk. Because corpses don't tell stories, Admiral. Survivors do. And we want your empire to hear every detail. You think this humiliation will end us? KRYTH hissed. Cole chuckled softly. No. You will end yourselves trying to explain it. Captured Dominion soldiers were already being released, not tortured, not scarred, but returned. Each was given food, medical care, and one message, repeated with a smile by their captors. Go home. Tell them what Earth is. The psychological blade cut deeper than any wound. Soldiers expected death. Instead, they were dismissed like children scolded for misbehavior. In New York, Cole stood on a rooftop at sunrise, mug in hand. Maya joined him, still shaken. It's over, she whispered. No, Cole corrected. It's only begun. She frowned. You could have annihilated them. Why let them leave? Cole's smile was steady, but his eyes were sharp as glass. Because victory isn't about who dies, Maya. It's about who learns. If the galaxy learns that invading Earth means fleets vanish, they'll never risk it again. But if they learn it through terror alone, they'll keep testing us. Through shame? Through humiliation? That lasts. She studied him. You're scarier than they are. He clinked his mug against hers. Don't tell anyone. I like my friendly reputation. 2 days later, the Dominion fleet limped away, crippled, demoralized, broadcasting silence. Across the galaxy, whispers spread like wildfire. Asterisk, the humans smiled while dismantling them. Asterisk. Asterisk, they fed prisoners before sending them home. Asterisk. Asterisk, no war against Earth ends well. Asterisk. Weeks later, the Assembly convened an emergency session. Representatives demanded answers. How had a backwater planet outmaneuvered a galactic power? What weapons had they used? What sorcery made entire armies vanish? The chamber quieted as Nathan Cole took the floor, coffee in hand, as always. Ladies, gentlemen, and assorted anatomies, he began with a polite bow. Earth extends its gratitude for your concern. Let me clear up a few things. A hologram bloomed beside him, footage of Dominion soldiers being captured, their weapons useless, their fleets trapped. No gore, no slaughter. Only efficiency. As you see, Earth remains defenseless. No shields, no death fleets. We welcome visitors. But those who come with chains, he gestured toward the frozen image of defeated Vecture soldiers. Discover that humans are far more polite hosts than they deserve. Laughter rippled uneasily through the chamber. Cole's smile never wavered. So, to answer the question on everyone's mind, why does no war against Earth end well? He leaned closer, voice soft but carrying across the hall. Because Earth doesn't fight wars. We end them before they start. We don't build walls, we build traps. And once you're inside, well... He raised his mug. Enjoy dinner. The chamber fell silent. No delegate dared meet his gaze. On the journey home, Admiral Kryth sat broken in his command chair, surrounded by silence. His empire would demand answers. His name would forever be tied not to conquest, but to catastrophe. His last thought before slipping into restless sleep was not of hatred, but of fear. Fear of a species that smiled while dismantling predators. Fear of a planet that had no shields because it was the shield. Fear of humans who had learned to hunt long before they learned to fly. Back on Earth, Nathan Cole walked through Central Park, now pristine again, rebuilt overnight by quiet civilian effort. Children played where alien dropships had once scarred the ground. Life resumed, as if nothing had happened. Maya walked beside him. So it's really over? Cole looked around at the laughter, the sunlight, the ordinary rhythm of his world. Then he smiled faintly. For us, yes. For them? The war's just beginning. He tossed the last of his coffee into the grass and strolled on, humming to himself, a predator at ease in a world that still pretended to be harmless. And somewhere across the galaxy, the words echoed like a curse. No war against Earth ever ends well.